Sup cunts, it's Nick, and today, oh fuck, okay, today, we're playing a game, but before we do that, I'm just gonna give a little forewarning. This video might get a bit cringe. Like, cringe. But, I'm gonna ask that you keep an open ooga booga dooga mind, because we're progressives over here on the Nickapoo family channel. Okay? So, that being said, we're playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links. So, for anyone that doesn't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a pretty popular card game, sort of like Pokemon, except not as popular. But I like it better, so that's why we're playing this. Also, kind of like Magic the Gathering, except I don't know jack shit about Magic the Gathering, and I at least know a little bit about Pokemon. I like the games, and I like the show. I just don't know a lot about the cards, so whatever. So this is going to be a little bit of a dank tutorial video, because I want to teach you guys who are maybe interested how to play this game that's very likely you're not interested in. So, on that note, let's get started. Also, I'm not an expert. I don't know everything, but I'm going to teach you the basics, because I know a lot. So, we're going to just look at my deck first, and we're going to go over some of the really easy stuff that you should know. Fuck, why am I doing this? Alright. Oh, and also, yes, all of you competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Players, yes, I run the fucking Egyptian gods. Okay? Don't at me. Alright? I like them. I'm trying to click on you. Yeah. I run these two Egyptian gods. I don't run Ra, because he sucks. But I run these two Egyptian gods because I like them and they're fun. So you can shut your ass up. But, that being said, I run a lot of warriors. And Blue Eyes White Dragon. For some reason. But I do need to spruce up my deck a little bit. It's not great right now. I have no extra deck. So I would like to change that. And that's kind of the other half of this video. The first half of this is going to be like a tutorial. And the second half is just going to be me fixing shit. But that being said, let's look at this one right here. This is a great example. So, obviously, there's the easy stuff. Up here at the top, you got the title, and you got the picture, and down here at the bottom, you just got some little flavor text to make it seem less gay. That stuff's not really too important. The title out of that is probably the most important, just because, like, card effects sometimes will mention certain names. So, that's why that's a little important. But other than that, in the top right we got its attribute. This one's the dark attribute, whatever. And then you got its level right under that, which is in the stars. Kind of look like Dragon Balls, but not really. This one's level 4, which is significant, and I'll tell you why in a second. And then down at the bottom here in this text box, at the top in between the two brackets where it says warrior, that's its type. So this is a warrior type monster. And this is a normal monster as well. You can tell because in the types list down here, it doesn't say effect. If it has an effect, it'll say effect down there. And also, you can see around the outside, it's like a nice little yellow color. Effect monsters will have a nice little orange-brown color around the outside. So, what else? Oh yeah, at the bottom here, it's got attack and defense. Unlike Pokemon, monsters don't have health. It's just whichever monster has the higher attack, that one wins, and the other one's dead. So, fuck, my camera shut off. Alright, cool, now this little piece of shit is back up and running. Like I was saying, before I was so rudely interrupted by my own equipment, oh yeah, okay. So, battling is a lot easier in this than in Pokemon, because there's no health on Pokemon you don't have to keep track of, and, shut up. about the network connection. There is definitely a network connection. You're just being a piece of shit. Shut up. But it's just whichever monster has the higher attack wins, or sometimes you use defense. But I'll get into that in a second. Oh, come on. What are you doing that for? Come on, man. Okay. Alright. Give me a second. I gotta do some shit with my Wi-Fi. Because being a little cunt boy right now. So I have it on here so you can't see my Wi-Fi. Should I edit this out of the video? Probably. But do I want to? No. Because I don't care that much. But yeah. Also about the level. So there's a very big important topic in Yu-Gi-Oh, which is tributing. Tribute it's basically when you sacrifice your monster to summon a monster that's a higher level. So levels 4 and under don't require any tributes to summon. You can just put those on the field unless it says otherwise on the card. You can just put those out in the field without anything special. But then for a level 5 or 6, it requires a tribute, which just means you sacrificed any one of your monsters on the board, or maybe something else if a card has an effect that says so. Basically, it's like the rules are kind of there, and then if a card says something else, then whatever. But as far as tributing, if it's a level 5 or a 6, here we go. Okay, I got it back. So yeah, this one, like I said, this one's a level 4. It requires no tributes. Like, there's a bunch of other level 4s in here. Most of them are level 4s. This one's a level 3. It also requires no tributes. And then there's like this one right here, which is a level 5. This one requires 1 tribute, because 5s and 6s require 1 tribute. So let's say I had this out in the field, because it doesn't require tributes. I could sacrifice this and put this on the field if I have it in my hand. And I'm going to do a little practice duel in a minute, just so you can really see it. And then this guy right here, this is a level 8. Now levels 7 and up require 2 tributes, which means you got to sacrifice 2 monsters. So let's say I had this one on the field and then this one. I would have to sacrifice both of them to summon this from my hand. So it's not that complicated. Just sacrifice monsters for a high level 1. Unless the card says to, like these two right here, Obelisk, the Tormentor, and Slife of the Sky Dragon. Two of the 3 Egyptian gods. Which on the card, you can see its effect down here. It has it in bigger text. All 3 of the Egyptian gods require 3 tributes to normal summon. So that's just something special about them. Because it says it right on the card. If it didn't say that, it would be 2 tributes. Even though it's a level 10, it doesn't matter. If it didn't say on the card that it requires 3 tributes, it would only require 2. So, that's pretty much it as far as monsters, except for like battling, which I guess I can go over that. Okay, so let's say we got let's go with this one. This one has 1900 attack. So let's say we have this one and it attacks this one right here. This one has 1800 attack. If they're both in attack position, which by the way I should say, you can put your cards in attack position where they're up like this, or defense position where they're out like this. So it's either vertical or horizontal. Vertical is attack position, which you can only be in face up attack position, and then defense position, where you can be face up or face down. And I'm gonna get more into like how to actually play stuff in the practice tool that I'm gonna do in a minute. But if both of these are in attack position, this one right here, no, not that one. This one right here, and this one. If they're both in attack position, then you use their attacks. So this one has 1900 and this one has 1800. So since this one has the higher attack, this one wins and this one dies. Okay, it's dead. It doesn't get to come back unless you have something that can bring it back. So it goes into the graveyard, which is a special little spot on the board for all of your dead boys. And the way this works is if they're both in attack position, and also it doesn't matter who attacks who. If this one attacks this one, or if this one attacks the other one, no matter who attacks, the one with the higher attack wins. And the difference between their attacks goes to damage. It turns into damage to the loser. So whoever controlled this one right here, since it's the weaker out of the two, you would split the difference basically. So this one's 1900, this one's 1800. The difference is 100. So whoever controlled this one would take 100 damage, as well as their monster is destroyed. But let's say you have something like this. One person has this one, and one person has this. Wait, okay, I clicked on it. This one. So they each have 1800 attack. If they're both in attack position, what happens is they attack, or one of them attacks, and they both die. Both of them are gone. This one's dead, and this one's dead. And no one takes any damage since there is no difference in attacks. So they're just both dead, and that's it. And then let me talk about defense position. So, let's see. What's a good one? Yeah, okay, so let's say I had this one in defense position, which I probably wouldn't do, but let's say I had this one in defense position. Obelisk the Tormentor right here. Let's say I had this one in defense position, and I attacked it with this one. Or actually, no, let's not do that yet. Let's say I had this one. Hold on, I'm sorry. This is going horribly. Okay, well, let's say I had this one in defense position, and I attacked it with this one. Okay, and you can't attack your own monsters. This is just for the sake of the explanation. You only attack your opponent's monsters one at a time, whatever. So if this one attacks this one, but this one is in defense position. Remember that. This one is in defense position. So you use its defense right there. Its defense is 1000. And this one's attack is 1800. So this one has the higher attack than this one has defense. So this one wins. But the difference is, since this one is in defense position, it defends your life points. So even though this one dies because it has a lower defense than this one does have attack, no one takes any damage because this monster was in defense position. Okay, that's the bonus of having a monster in defense position. But let's say we had like this one attacks and then this one is in defense position. This one has 1800 defense and this one has 1800 attack. So if this one attacks this one, which is in defense position, no one takes any damage, and unlike the two attack position ones, no one is destroyed either. No one is destroyed if the attack of one and the defense of another are the same. But let's say we had this one in defense position. This is what I was going to say before. But let's say we got this one in defense position. So this one has 4000 defense, which is a lot, by the way. And this one only has 1800 attack. So let's say this one attacks this one for some reason. So this one has a lower attack than this one has defense. So the damage would go to whoever controlled this one. But the difference is in this one, neither card gets destroyed. Whoever controlled the weaker monster, they take damage, but neither monster is destroyed. So I guess that's a little better. I think that's it as far as monsters go. I can't really think of anything else. But next we got spells. So a spell, the way this works is, so you see the spell here. It's got the title. It says that it's a spell card right up there. And it's got its attribute is spell. So, I don't know. There's a bit of redundancy, but whatever, it's fine. And you can tell it's a spell also because it's green around the outside. And then it's got a little picture here. But the most important thing is this effect down here. Which, basically, you just read the effect and then do what it says. So, this one is, if your life points were lower than your opponent's when this card was activated, gain 2,000 life points. If your life points were higher than your opponent's, you take 1,000 damage. So that just means whenever you play this, it depends on whether your life points were lower or higher than your opponent's. So if they were lower, you get 2,000 life points. If they're higher, you get a minus 100 life points. Also, I scratched my leg and now I'm bleeding a little bit, but it's fine. It's not that bad. But this is a regular spell. So you can play this on your turn. There are different phases, which I'll explain more once we get to the practice duel. But you play this on your turn. I'll tell you when. This is a specific time when you can play these. And I'll tell you when that is later. But there are other types of spells as well. Like this one right here is an equip spell. And you can tell because it's got this little cross on there, and you can see it down here in where it has the description and everything. It's got this little cross here, and that means that it's an equip spell, which means it gets equipped to one of your monsters on the field, and it generally has an effect that like boosts their power or something like that. Yeah. It's not too hard to understand. It's pretty much the same thing as a regular one, except it gets equipped to a monster and generally has an effect that boosts that monster's attack or defense or whatever. It just helps them out in some way. And then the most confusing spell, at least I think so, is a quick play spell. This basically is a spell, in layman's terms, it's a spell that can be played faster than a normal spell. Quick play means it basically means you have more opportunities to play it. So like you can play it. Sometimes you can play it during the battle phase, which is when you're attacking your opponent. Or you can even activate these on your opponent's turn as well, which is a good segue into trap cards. Here, I'll start with this one. Trap cards, these, which I should say, when you play a spell or a trap card, the way the board works is there's two main rows of cards. There's one row of monster zones in the front, and then in the back there's a row of spell and trap zones. So you play monsters in the monster zones and spell and traps in the spell and trap zone. Pretty self-explanatory. When you play a monster, you can, I'll get into it more later, but you can either normal summon or you can set. And then for spell and trap cards, you can either play them face up and immediately, or for spell cards specifically, you can play them face up and activate their effects immediately, or you can set them face down. You can set both spells and traps face down, but the difference is traps have to be set face down. And yeah, so a trap has to be set face down, but then you can activate it whenever you want, really. You can activate it on your own turn. You can activate it, well, not on the turn that you set it. You can't activate spells or you can't activate traps the turn that you set them face down. But you can, any turn after that, even on your opponent's turn, you can activate them whenever you want. So it's pretty much the same as a spell, except you can't activate it the turn that you set it, but you can activate it any turn thereafter. It doesn't have to be a quick play. There are no quick play traps. That just doesn't make sense. But yeah, and then another thing, I don't have any spell versions of these, but this is the trap version. This is a continuous trap, which there are also continuous spells, so just bear with me here. It basically just means that it stays on the field. It just means once you play it, normally a spell or trap, you play it, and then it goes to the graveyard. But the exceptions are equip spells and and then continuous spell and traps, as well as field spells, but I don't have any of those in my deck, so I don't really want to go into that. So those ones are the ones that stay on the field after you play them. So, like this one. Oh, fuck, my camera stopped again. God damn it. Alright, hopefully this is the last time I have to do anything with this piece of shit camera. As far as, like, fixing it in this video. I would like a new webcam. But, shut up. Anyway, I upped my mic quality because I realized it was too low. But I'm still gonna do this because I need to upload a video. So, yeah. But continuous trap means you play it and it stays on the field until it gets destroyed by something. Yeah, that's really it. And an equip spell is pretty much the same thing as like a continuous spell. So basically, just imagine the spell version of this. An equip spell is the same thing, but it can go away when whatever monster it's equipped to. If that gets killed, this goes to the graveyard. Or if an effect destroys it, then it goes to the graveyard. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's all you really need to know right now. And I think what we should just do is get into the practice duel. Also, I have to pick this up right now. I'm not gonna do too much more of this because I've already been going for a little bit longer than I would have liked to. But we're gonna do this. So I'm just gonna fight a rando on the street. Doesn't matter who it is. I'm just gonna fight her, and you're gonna get to see this in action. So I'm hoping I get first turn on this one. If I don't, then that's fine. But I'm hoping I get to go first. Just for the purposes of showing you guys. Normally I go in second, but whatever. Which I'll explain why in a second. Alright. So, we're gonna do this, and you guys are gonna see how to kind of play. It's not honestly too complicated. And yes, I play as Dummy Yuzi on the computer. On my phone I play as Joey Wheeler, because he's the best. Okay, I got second. So if you go first, you don't get a battle phase or a draw phase really.
Hey, you there? You, me, duel.
I'm gonna wait for her to take her turn real quick, so I can explain to you guys.
Face down. I set a card. My turn is over.
So there you
Good luck on
you can
yours.
kind of see it, but I'm gonna like actually explain it a little bit.
I draw a card.
What that just was is the draw phase. Fuck my goddamn camera. Alright, this is the last time I'm doing anything because I'm sick of this shit. But what you saw there was my draw phase, which is the first phase of a turn where you draw a card. That's it. You draw a card. Pretty easy. In Duel Links, you draw 4 at the start of the game. In actual Yu-Gi-Oh, you draw 5. But whatever. And also, the field is smaller in Duel Links. But, so, and also, right after the draw phase is a little thing called the standby phase. The standby phase is used. It's really only when a card mentions it, because cards will have effects that mention the standby phase. So it's really not too important, other than for card effects. But I'm going to just go ahead and point out the different zones. So right up here, where you can see it lighting up, that is the field zone. What that is there's a special type of spells called field spells, which when you activate them, they get activated in the field zone. And they have an effect that affects the entire board. Generally, it affects like a certain type of monster or whatever. Or there are ones for like certain archetypes of monsters, which is basically like a group of similar monsters. But for this, it's not too important because I don't have one of those. And then right here, back here, back left, is the extra deck zone. That is where you place extra deck monsters. Those are like special ones. They require special summoning tricks, I guess. Different methods of summoning them. So yeah, that's really it. And then up here, right here, is the graveyard. That is where used up cards can go, or not can go. That is where they do go. Well, sometimes they get banished, which means they don't go in any of the zones. They kind of just go out of the game. But yeah, most of the time they go here, and you can get. There are a lot of cards that let you get cards out of the graveyard. And then right here, as you can see, is my deck. Now it gives me an option to surrender here, but that's not what I want to do. But this is my deck right here. That's just where all my cards are. At the beginning of the game, you shuffle it, whatever, so that it's random and you don't know where everything is. But yeah, right now we're in the main phase. Now in actual Yu-Gi-Oh, I will say there's a main phase 1 and a main phase 2. So the main phase 1 is right when it is now, which is when you can summon monsters, you can activate spells and set traps. So the way it is so also I forgot to mention this back row here. So all of these three that I just touched on, that is your spell and trap zones. That's where you play spell and trap cards only, unless a card mentions that it goes there. Okay? And then up here is the monster zones. Like, once again, where you play monster cards only unless a card says that it goes there. Like I said this earlier, but I didn't really emphasize it. The rules are there, but if a card says something different, then that's what comes first. So like normally, spells and traps are only played in the spell and trap zone. But like if a trap card says that you can summon it in as a monster and it goes in the monster zone, then that's what goes. That's it. But I'm not going to use this right now because it wouldn't do anything for me. But you can set it. So if I were to set it, it would be just like this card back here. I don't know if you can see that, but in my opponent's back row right there, it would look just like that if I were to set this. I don't want to set it right now, which is why I'm not going to. But that's what it would look like if I did that. And now with this monster, also I never really explained effect monsters. It's pretty much just like a spell or trap. It's just when you summon it in, it's got an effect here. You follow the effect, whatever. But with this, it gives me two options. I can normal summon it, which means it's gonna look just like this. It's gonna look face up in a vertical position, right in one of these zones. It doesn't matter. It auto goes to zone because it doesn't matter what zone you are in. Or I have the option to set it. Now, if I set it, it's going to be just like this card that my opponent has in her front row there. It's going to be horizontal, like landscape mode if you're into photography or whatever, or just pictures in general, I guess. And it's going to be face down. The advantage of this is that it puts your monster into defense mode. And not only does it do that, but also it's face down. So your opponent doesn't know what that card is. Okay, that's the advantage of setting things face down, is your opponent doesn't know what it is, so they're going to be more reluctant to attack it. But for this one's got a nice high attack, but right now I'm thinking I want to do something with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to normal summon it in.
Alright. I summon a monster in attack position.
Yeah. And also it's important to say in your main phases, in your main phase in this, and then in actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Main phase 1 and 2, basically on your turn, you're only allowed to normal summon or set once per turn, unless you have a card effect that lets you say so. Or that says so. If it lets you set or normal summon one more or whatever per turn, then you can do that. But other than that, once per turn. That's it. But there are other types of summoning. It's called a special summon, which is basically just it's just special. Really the only difference is that it can happen. Sometimes it can happen on your opponent's turn, and the main difference is a special summon can happen as many times as you want per turn, if you can do that. So yeah, that's really it. You don't need to worry too much about that. But right now, I've normal summoned in this guy. So right now, what I could do is I can go into my battle phase. So now,
Time to battle.
yeah, I've declared now I'm ready to fight. So I'm gonna choose this one to attack the face down card.
Here we go. I attack with a monster.
Yeah. Okay. See, that one had a lower defense than my attack, so it went to the graveyard. Boom, now it's in there. We can see what it is and everything. That's great. So now, normally if I was completely done attacking, I would have a main phase 2, where you can set more spells and traps, or activate spells and traps, whatever. You can set and activate them. And if you did not normal summon or set during your main phase 1, you can do that in your main phase 2. And also, just like you can do as many special summons per turn as you want, you can activate or set as many spell and trap cards as you want per turn. So just go crazy with that. But in Duel Links, there is no main phase 2. So instead what I have to do is go to my end phase. My end phase basically just means I'm passing off my turn to my opponent. And you might be wondering why that even is a thing. It's kind of like the standby phase, where it's really only useful when a card mentions it. Although there are more card effects that mention the end phase than there are the standby phase, I will say. So,
My turn is done.
there we go. Now it's my opponent's turn to do whatever she wants, as long as she can.
I set a monster.
Yeah.
My turn is over.
She's being smart. She's setting things.
It's my
She
turn.
puts them in defense position so that I can't do any damage to her life points. So now, my draw phase, I draw a card. Bam. I drew a spell card that I want to use. And also, I've got a thing here. So, what my effect says is that during my standby phase, we can read it down like the bottom leftish of the screen. So during your standby phase, which is what this is right now, you can see up in the turn counter, it says turn 4, your standby phase. Which I said, that's right after the draw phase, only use when a card mentions it. So during your standby phase, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard, special summon one Silent Swordsman level 5 from your hand or deck. You cannot activate this effect the turn this card is summoned or flipped face up. So, since I summoned it in last turn, since I normal summoned it, so that means I summoned it face up. Since I did that last turn, now on this turn, I get to activate this effect. So I do want to do that, so I'm gonna say yes.
My monster's effect activates.
So now what happens is this card goes to the graveyard, and I get to special summon this card.
I'm counting on you.
So now I've special summoned this in attack position, because it has a higher attack than defense, and it has a pretty good attack. It's got 2,300. And also what this says is during it says it's unaffected by my opponent's spell effects. But also during my next standby phase after this card inflicts battle damage to my opponent by a direct attack, which a direct attack is when your opponent doesn't have any monsters, you can have one of your monsters attack their life points directly, instead of having to do damage by attacking one of their monsters. So after I inflict battle damage by a direct attack, I can send this face-up card to the graveyard and special summon one Silent Swordsman level 7 from my hand or deck. So I get an even stronger monster. So if I attack directly this turn, then I can get a stronger monster on my next turn. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to see this spell card here. So this says I can decrease my opponent's life points by 300 points. So if I activate this, then it's gonna activate that effect. I'm gonna set it though, because I just want to show you this is what it looks like when it's set. It's nice and face down. and whatever. I mean, you already saw it, but cool. I can, if you set a spell card that you can already activate, you can still activate it. Don't worry, if you accidentally set it and you wanted to activate it, you can still activate it. So, I'm gonna activate this.
I use my face down card.
Yeah.
I activate.
So, otherwise, I would just activate this straight from my hand. You don't have to set it and then activate it. But see, her life points decreased by 300. She had 4,000 life points. She's down to 300 now. And I also didn't mention life points before. I'm kind of all over the place. But, your life points, in actual Yu-Gi-Oh! You get 8,000. In Duel Links, you get 4,000. But, once your life points reach 0, then you lose. So you want your opponent's life points to reach 0 by attacking or using cards like this. And yeah, you just want to decrease your opponent's life points to 0 so that you can win. But what I'm gonna do on my turn right now is I'm going to actually I'm gonna get this guy out. I'm gonna normal summon this guy onto the field.
I summon a monster in attack position.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'm gonna enter my battle phase.
Time to battle.
Because I can only do one normal summoner set per turn. So I'm gonna attack this face down monster with this one.
Playtime is over.
Because I want to attack my opponent directly with my other one so I can get a better monster. Yeah, see, it's another one of these. My monster's attack is higher, and also, if you were wondering, my monster has an effect that says if this card attacks an opponent's monster, this card gains 300 attack during the damage step only. Which the damage step is part of the battle phase. It's a little complicated, so I'm not gonna explain that right now. But it's basically just when it attacks, it gets 300 attack. It gets an extra 300 bonus, and then also this card loses 500 attack during the damage step only if it's attacked by an opponent's monster. So yeah. So now what I can do is I can attack directly with this one.
Here we go.
So I can do more damage because I'm not being blocked by a monster. And also, it's gonna activate my monster's effect on my next turn. So now I end my turn, and I wait for my opponent to do whatever.
What should I do? My turn. I draw.
So yeah. So now we just gotta wait for whatever she does. I can't affect this.
I end my turn.
Okay.
Now isn't the time to let up. My turn.
Yeah. Okay. She hasn't even used her face down card, which is good. So now, because of my because I did a direct attack last turn and inflicted battle damage, now since it's my standby phase, I can level up my Silent Swordsman again. Now I have a level 7, and this guy's got a nice attack. He's got 2,800, which is really good. So yeah. Yeah. So this one, it doesn't level up again. There's no Silent Swordsman level 9 or anything like that. And also, you can just summon these guys in by tributing, but I don't know. It's easier to do it this way. But well, although actually this guy can't be normal summoner set. It says on the card. But this one, it negates all spell effects on the field. So that means I don't. Yeah. So no one can activate spell effects right now. So if I were to activate this, then my Silent Swordsman would negate that. So right now what I'm going to do is also, you can change battle positions if you want to, except on the turn that you summon a monster. So if you have a monster that you've had on the field for more than one turn, then you can change the battle position or whatever, which is good if your opponent has a high attack monster. If you switch them to defense position, then you'll be able to protect your life points. But right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to summon this guy in attack position.
I summon a monster in attack position.
Just so that I have some extra defense, I guess. It's not really defense. Wait, what?
I reveal my face down card.
Okay, so what she did is she activated a trap card in response to me summoning that. So what it did is if the defense of a monster summoned by your opponent, excluding special summon, is 500 points or less, the monster is destroyed. Okay, so since I normal summoned a monster that had 500 defense, you can see right here, it's got 500 defense. I normal summoned a monster that has 500 defense, so she was able to destroy it with a trap card. So that's fine, I still got 2 other monsters on the field. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to enter my battle phase, and I can attack her face down cards, and it's another one of these, so I destroyed it because I have more attack, and now I'm just going to attack her directly with this one.
Let's do this. My monster attacks your
so
life
now,
points directly.
It's going to reduce your life points to 0, yep. And now, see, your life points are at 0, so then I win the duel.
Whoa, you beat me fair and square. Well,
yeah, okay, shut up. I don't actually care. Yeah, so that was a good one. Not too hard, not too complicated. Just so you can kind of see some stuff in action, and just have me explain a few more things. And also, you're in cards and Duel Links, whatever. I don't actually want that card. Also, I know I said that. Oh, okay. This is just a random thing. You don't need to worry about this. This is only in Duel Links. It's not actually like, it's not really part of the actual like dueling game, but whatever. It's just another thing. Also, I know I said I was gonna try and like add more to my deck in the second half of this video, but I'm thinking this is already long enough, and I really need something to upload because it's like 10 o'clock on Thursday. So yeah. So that's just gonna be it for this one. So that was just a nice little thing of the basics. Also, I don't care about that. But that's kind of fun. I kind of like that. Because it's just a nice little tutorial thing. It's pretty chill because I'm good at this game, I guess. So I was able to just pretty easily kind of show how it's done. So I don't know. This is fun. I might make another video of me. I'll show me adding to my deck a little bit, because there's some more aspects of Duel Links that let you add to your deck a little bit more, as well as in real life. You can always buy card packs and structure decks and starter decks and whatever, and they have that in Duel Links. So I don't know. I'll show some stuff of that in the next episode if you guys want me to. If you don't, then whatever. I don't have to do this again. But if you guys are cool with that, then yeah, whatever. As with anything really. Although for other things, it's really like if I get any if I were to get negative feedback on a series, then I would stop doing it. Well, not necessarily, but if I were to get like a lot of negative feedback, then I might stop. If people wanted me to stop that, but I don't know. For this one, just if anyone wants it, then speak up, because otherwise I'm not doing this again. So this is just a fun little thing to do. Nice little one-off video. I like making nice little one-off videos that are just fun for a second, and you can come back and watch whenever. But yeah, that is it for this one though. I'll have a link down below. You can check this game out on Steam. This game is available for free, by the way. I'm not sponsored by it or promoted by it in any way. Or I'm not promoting it. Well, no, I am promoting it, but I'm not sponsored by it or anything. They're not paying me. I just really like this game. I like Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're interested, I would recommend getting Duel Links. I would recommend getting Duel Links before you go out and buy cards, because Duel Links is free. And obviously you don't want to waste your money on it if you're going to end up not being interested in it. So I would definitely recommend getting Duel Links. It's right down there, linked to it on Steam. You can also get it on, the Google Play Store. You can get it on the App Store. You might even be able to get it on the Amazon Store. I have no idea. I have to look into that. But I have an Android, so I have it on Google Play. But whatever. Get it on Steam, get it on Google Play, get it on App Store, whatever. I would totally recommend it. It's a lot of fun. Especially if you're just getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Or if you just want to just get into it a little bit or just see if you like it. Because it's a little more simplified than the actual game, like at tournaments or whatever. And Duel Links, there's a lot of stuff in the game about like timing or whatever. But the good thing about Duel Links is it does that for you. So it's a lot easier to learn off of Duel Links. Especially there's so much shit in the game now that's really hard to learn. So Duel Links is a great tool. But enough of my bullshit. I've been rambling and talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! For like 20 minutes now. So I'm just going to end it here. Thank you all for watching. My Twitter and Instagram is also in the description if you want to check those out. Also down there is the like and subscribe button. Gotta work on that. But if you hit those, I'd be thankful. And don't forget that I will see you on Tuesday, you lovely sacks of shit. Bye-bye.